It's estimated that an amazing 20 million Americans suffer from thyroid disease, and more than half of them don't even know it. You may be one of those people so plagued. So watch this segment closely.
Susie Cohen, America's most trusted pharmacist, says there's an epidemic in our country. People are thyroid sick, and most don't even know it. She knows this because in 2007, she experienced weight gain, hair loss, and fatigue, and was soon diagnosed with low thyroid disorder. In her book, Thyroid Healthy, Susie shares what medication and diet helped her with recovery. She also tells us how to live thyroid smart and thyroid healthy.
Well, please welcome back to the 700 Club, America's pharmacist, Susie Cohen. Susie, good to see you again.
Nice to see you too, Pat.
You are the most prolific author. You've written another book. I don't know how you do it, but this is called Thyroid Healthy. Lose weight, look beautiful, live along the life you imagine. I mean, that's pretty good stuff. Huh?
Thank you so much. It stems from my own illness with thyroid disease. And
all right, the thyroid, as I understand, really controls your growth. It's sort of like a master regulator, isn't it?
yes, it is the master hormone in your body. It controls your temperature and your metabolism. So people who are struggling with weight, or they can't lose weight, and they're cold all the time, brittle nails, their hair's falling out in clumps, this could all be related to thyroid disease.
I've seen that Armour thyroid, which is based on, animal, and then there's a synthetic thing that they give people.
Yes.
Oh, is there a difference, in your opinion, between them?
Yes, they're different medications. They're both require both prescription. The Armour that you mentioned and another one called Thyroid, those are related to porcine, so pigs, and they're natural, and they contain both T4 and T3 hormone, which is what your body uses. Now, Synthroid, you mentioned, that is another prescription drug, which is bioidentical T4, which means it is exactly matching that which your thyroid gland makes. Now, the medications temporarily raise your thyroid levels, but they're not fixing the underlying problem, which could be related to many things. It could be iodine deficiency, it could be inflammation of the thyroid gland, it could be related to low iron. That's what it was for me.
Well, you see these people that got this goiter there, out in Ohio, there was a goiter built, and the thing swells up, and that's iodine deficiency.
It usually is iodine deficiency, but a doctor would have to tease that out, and they would have to do an ultrasound and other tests. And see, that's the problem that I have with the current conventional medical system, is the testing isn't very good. Very few thyroid patients are given the ultrasound test, which is non-invasive. They are not tested correctly with their blood tests either. This is a huge secret I'm about to tell the world. And I'm not afraid to do it. You know me.
There's a blood test, and you get a reading, and the doctor prescribes medicine on the strength of that reading.
Yes, and the doctors will tell you you're normal, even though you are face planted on the floor, on the couch, and you're exhausted, and you're cold, and you have every symptom of thyroid disease, because the test will say you're normal almost 80% of the time, and you'll fall through the cracks, and you have all these symptoms. You could be the poster child for thyroid disease and have heavy weight and be suffering with many symptoms, but the testing is inaccurate. That's why I wrote the book.
Why is the testing inaccurate? I don't understand.
Well, they're basing it on people that were very sick, so their normal ranges are really out of whack. Plus, they're measuring the TSH, and they're gauging your progress on the TSH, and oftentimes they're gauging your medication dose on the TSH test. It's a blood test. But that TSH test is really reflective of the thyroid hormone in your brain. Your brain is never going to starve. By the time your TSH test comes up abnormal, you've been sick for years. And so in my book, I talk about the better tests that are available for the same price or less.
What was wrong with you, and what are the symptoms that you had?
Well, what was wrong with me? I was handed a prescription for an antidepressant, which was rather insulting, because anyone who knows me that I'm happy-go-lucky. This was a time in my life where I was under a lot of stress and pressure. I was caring for my husband, who was ill at the time, and things started to change for me. I couldn't do Zumba, my dance. very well. I was dizzy. I was starting to put on more weight.
I'm sure that would shock me, man. I couldn't do Zumba dance. That's a horrible condition.
I'm sure you can shake it.
I need a whole pharmacopoeia just to deal with Zumba dance. All right,
well,
go
but
ahead.
you go horseback riding, and I
that's
don't.
That's right. If it stopped me from that, then I know it'd be bad.
Well, I can't stay on a horse to save my life, so I just noticed things were different. I started holding on to weight, and I had always been thin. So I knew something was wrong, and they tested me with this TSH test, and they said, Susie, you're normal. I was anything but normal. I was 2 sizes up than normal for me. And you can see the picture, the side-by-side of that's how I am now. And I knew something was wrong, so I got on a mission. I figured out what was wrong with me. I had low iron, which was causing low thyroid, and that was trickling into low adrenals, and it's all tied together. And I cured myself, and I wrote a book to help other women struggling who are told it's just you're going through the change. Or
what is this cold hands thing? You know, so many women have cold hands and they're cold, and I mean, my wife said, I'm freezing. Yeah, I'm not freezing, I'm burning up. What do you?
Cold hands and the loss of your eyebrows or eyelashes or thinning hair, very hallmark signs for thyroid disease. But these women will be told that they have fibromyalgia or chronic fatigue syndrome, and they're sent home with a prescription for painkillers and antidepressants, and then in come all the other drugs for heartburn. And but before you know it, you're on 6 different medicines, and I'm saying that it's probably related to low thyroid, which is often underdiagnosed, misdiagnosed for something else.
Well, how do you get your doctor to acknowledge that this thing is misdiagnosed?
Yes, you have to become your own health advocate. And so for that reason, I wrote a book, and I recently held an online event that broadcast worldwide. People could tune in from their jammies, from their bedroom, and watch on the computer. It's called the Thyroid Summit, and that's the website too, thethyroidsummit.com, and you can learn from 32 world-leading experts, empower yourself, get knowledge, and argue with your doctor.
It looks like that the secret assassin that keeps turning up is inflammation, and you indicate that inflammation is at the heart of a lot of this low thyroid.
Yes, the thyroid gland could become inflamed. Also, your whole body is systemic inflammation, and this can happen from drinking from plastic water bottles, from artificial sweeteners, from alcohol, from chronic unrelenting stress. You have to support your body with the right nutrients.
Well, let's look at this stuff here. Get a close up here. All right, up. Well, what is this? This is thyroid.
ThyroScript. That's a dietary supplement that I formulated based on my experience.
Oh, that's your deal, okay.
It's my deal, and it contains various different minerals and B vitamins and herbs that help activate your thyroid hormone. You see, what your gland makes is T4. It doesn't work. T4 doesn't work until it loses an iodine and creates T3. Thanks to an enzyme. When you have T3, you wake up, you feel beautiful, you start to lose weight. T3 makes you feel great. And most people are taking a T4 drug, or they're making T4 from their thyroid hormone, but that T4 isn't working for them or getting into the cell until it becomes T3. So a supplement that helps peripheral conversion of T4 to T3 is helpful. Ashwagandha will do that. That's an herb that's been around for centuries. Ashwagandha soothes the adrenal glands in case you're under stress, and it also helps with that conversion of T4 to T3, which is what we want. Minerals, such as the minerals found in Celtic salt and Himalayan. Notice the color of the salt. It's gray or pink. The color indicates that it's loaded with minerals, unlike table salt.
I've never heard of Celtic salt. Where does it come from?
Yeah, Celtic Sea. So it's just evaporated ocean water.
From Ireland? Celtic?
Yes. And so basically what we're looking at is salts that contain minerals, and you can tell because they have color. If you're using table salt, which is stripped, table salt's everywhere, right?
Yeah, you're right?
Everywhere. It's at every restaurant. It doesn't have any of the minerals. And when you're mineral deficient, you can't wake up. You can't make thyroid hormone, and you can't get that thyroid hormone inside the cell. That's where you want it.
How about the zinc? You've got, is that a zinc?
I have Brazil nuts, which contain zinc and selenium.
Oh.
Now there's a secret with the Brazil nuts. You never want to eat more than 4 per day, I would say, because they are loaded with selenium. Selenium is great for your thyroid gland and also for your prostate. And selenium helps with that activation of thyroid hormone, and it also reduces antibodies which form against the thyroid and mistakenly cause women to get diagnosed with bipolar disease and other psychiatric illnesses that they don't have.
But
so
4 of those things, that's it?
4 a day, that's
What happens
it.
if you eat 6 or 8?
Well, I made the mistake of making Brazil nut milk. My husband makes me almond milk, and I said, well,
Yeah.
Brazil nuts are so much healthier. So he made me Brazil nut milk. Well, you have to use a, you know, a Vitamix full and grind them up. And I was running around the house like the copper top bunny, and I was hyper. I had insomnia and tremors, and I was like, what happened? I realized I was dealing with excessive selenium for that day or 2. So
it's the selenium that
it was too much selenium. So don't make milk out of it. Just eat the nuts and eat 4 a day.
4.
That will keep you thyroid healthy as opposed to being thyroid sick.
You take zinc and what else? Zinc?
Yes, zinc. So the whole key for people is to recognize that maybe they're not hypothyroid, they're thyroid sick. It's a word, a term that I'm using because hypothyroid would mean technically that your thyroid gland wasn't cranking out enough thyroid hormone. But for most people, they're making enough thyroid hormone. They're not converting that T4 to T3, so they're thyroid sick.
Somebody on our staff who is very special, who is facing an operation to remove the thyroid. No.
Don't let them have their thyroid removed until I've talked to them or they've read my book.
Really?
Really, don't. Or tell them to go to the thyroidsummit.com. There's information there that's available for people.
Why would somebody want to take a thyroid out?
You know, I don't know. We live in a society now where conventional medicine's answer to symptoms is to burn you, i.e. radiation, or cut you and take out parts that were God-given.
If you take the thyroid out, you therefore are dependent on pills the rest of your life.
Yes, you are, because you are forevermore hypothyroid.
And if you don't take the pills, then you die.
Then you're going to be very sick and you're going to have heart disease and other problems. That's why my calling is to help people. And I study this every day. I've dealt with it. I've helped people around the world with the summit. And I'm here to tell you that if you've been diagnosed or misdiagnosed, there's hope for you. You need to get the correct diagnosis, the correct supplements to support your body, and start eating correctly.
Where do you get the book?
Amazon or my website, SusieCohen.com, because I have a feeling Amazon is sold out by now.
It's called, already. It's called Thyroid Healthy. Man, this is powerful stuff. When I was a kid, they said that my thyroid wasn't working right. They started to give you thyroid medicine. When you're a little boy, that used to be the diagnosis. You're a little bit overweight.
Yes, and they tell little boys now that their cholesterol is high. It's just, you can't just medicate yourself for every symptom. With thyroid disease, you'll have 10 or 12 symptoms, and they'll give you 10 or 12 drugs, and all you need is to optimize your thyroid function, wake up your own thyroid hormone, activate that T4 to T3. It's really easy to do with a handful of supplements and the right foods. You can wake it up, drive that thyroid hormone into the cell, and start to live the life you imagine.
You're wonderful. Hey,
I'm a rebel.
do me a favor. Don't write too many books. You'll exhaust yourself. Maybe you won't. Maybe you'll have a super thyroid that'll get you writing more books. Susie,
I write them to come on your show so I can see you again.
Susie Cohen, ladies and gentlemen. It's called, her website's called the Thyroid Summit. And you can just link to that. Just go to cbn.com and then the Thyroid Summit. Wonderful thing. Susie, you're the greatest. God bless you.
I have been blessed.
Terry, what's next?